Are you struggling with the dance in your relationship? And I'm not talking about the cha cha. I'm talking about the dance of offense and anger. This is what happens when one person pursues their spouse and something happens and the connection doesn't happen quite right. And one person gets offended, has hurt feelings, and turns away. And that person who did the pursuit says, "Ugh, that doesn't feel good." And then they turn away. They get angry and they're hurt. And eventually, maybe the other person will go, "Ooh, that didn't turn out quite how I wanted. Hey, I'm actually looking for connection with my spouse. Ooh, maybe I should pursue them." So they start pursuing. But the person just had their feelings hurt, 30 minutes ago, an hour, 2 hours yesterday, last week. And they go, "Oh, I don't like how that person treated me." And so they turn away. And their spouse bumps up against that. And that hurts. It doesn't feel good. And they turn away. And pretty soon you get this cycle of seeking connection, having our feelings hurt, turning away, pursuing, turning away again. And pretty soon you're dancing and you're not connecting. If that sounds familiar, let me tell you, I got stuck in that cycle in two different relationships in my early 20s. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to have my emotional needs met. And every time my partners at the time didn't do something I liked, sometimes as simple as leaving the cap off the toothpaste, I would get righteously angry. "How dare you not put the cap on the toothpaste? I've told you many times how I feel about having the cap left off the toothpaste. This is you showing me a lack of love." And those hurt feelings would then push against the spouse, and they would have their feelings hurt by my reaction and turn away from me. And we get caught in that never ending cycle of bouncing from hurt feeling to hurt feeling to hurt feeling until the trash load accumulated and accumulated until we felt like we're drowning in all these hurt feelings. What do we do with that? How do we stop this cycle? Well, we do that by taking responsibility for our feelings. Hey, I like the cap on the toothpaste. And stop thinking, "Oh, my spouse is showing me a lack of love." Oh, and we start to have to tell ourselves, "Wait a minute. My spouse is a human being, and my spouse forgets some of the little things like the cap on the toothpaste. Hmm. Is my spouse trying to show me a lack of love, or are they just careless or forgetful in the moment? Hmm. What do I do with that? Well, maybe I need to change my reaction. Maybe I need to have grace and forgiveness for my spouse and recognize their humanity and recognize this may not be a lack of love towards me." Wow, that can be a big aha in relationships. And then it takes pursuing our spouse in a gentle and kind way, saying, "Hey, I noticed you left the cap off the toothpaste. I see that you were forgetful in the moment. I chose to love you by putting the cap on because, I'm the one who cares about the cap the most." And then encourage them to share back what they heard you say. It looks like this. "Oh, I heard you say, I forgot to put the cap on the toothpaste, but you chose to love me by putting it on and not being offended or angry at me. Wow, I feel loved." And that's how you start the repair process. You start talking about the things that bother you. Sometimes it means you have to box up all of your feelings and put them in a box, put them in a drawer, and then really try to concentrate on what the other person is saying. Leave our offense, leave our angry, leave all the other times they left the cap off the toothpaste and you told them not to, and put that aside and have grace and listen, really listen to the person. These are hard things to do. Putting our emotions and our baggage and all the other terrible trash moments in our relationships aside really can be difficult. But if we don't, the trash is going to overwhelm us, and those bad moments are going to really lead us to say, this person doesn't love me, they don't treat me right, and I'm out of here. And when that happens, everything you've invested gets thrown out the window. And then we take all those hurt feelings and all those bad reactions into our next relationship. That's what I did several times. But the alternative is love, grace, peace, forgiveness in our relationships. And it starts with us, and it starts with our partner. If you need help figuring out how to reduce the emotional load from past experiences, you can join me in the Emotional Freedom Community, where I help you on 2 workshops a month figure out how to reduce the emotions. We do that with brain science. We use EFT and EMDR, some of the leading strategies for help rewiring our brain, our emotions, and our reactions. I sure hope that you choose to join us soon in saving your relationships. Join me, Melissa Kelley, with the Emotional Freedom Community and Rising Hope Counseling. Have a wonderful day.